How's it going, everybody? So I'm just finishing up the cow feeding this morning. We have a lot going on today. We're gonna mow hay and got some manure to haul. So load this silage up and we'll run this feed out and then get going with the other stuff today. Dad brought the 7220 over to the shop. He switched the PTO shaft over to the 1000. We'll go hook that up in a minute. This week they're gonna be starting to build. I guess they're here this morning digging the post holes. Delivered a bunch of wood this morning. This is some high value stuff right now. I'll check in with those guys later. So we're building a pole barn. They don't have to dig a footer for like a foundation, but you need to dig holes and they're gonna put some concrete in the bottom of them and then they'll set the post on top of that. Go up to the barn with this tractor and get the disc bind hooked up. Whoop. So we realized our drawbar is not sticking out far enough to hook it up to the mower. Don't have enough space to hook this up. So we could move the drawbar out, but then we're gonna have to move it back in again. Decided it might be just as easy to put the 7130 on this thing. And we'll use this one to haul manure then. We're just going over the mower a little bit. Checked the knives, greased it, and we're adjusting the rolls. It's got the crimping rolls in it. We don't want them quite as tight for the alfalfa as we did the traded cow. So Dad's adjusting that right now. Just tightening that bolt. We were working at spreading more manure yesterday. Pretty much got that done. Now we're cutting alfalfa. This is different than the traded cow. This is a crop that we plant once and then it regrows. We take 5 cuttings a year. We usually get 3 or 4 years of crop out of one planting. So this stuff we planted last spring. This will be its 2nd year in this field. It's a pretty heavy crop. Usually first is the heaviest cutting. A lot of times with first cutting we'll get some lodging. So the crop will kind of blow over in the wind. And then depending which direction you're going with the mower, it won't pick it up so well. We don't always crimp alfalfa too much, but first cutting, it won't hurt to leave those crimping rollers somewhat tight to help break up the stalks some. Now we'll let the sun dry this stuff and hopefully by tomorrow evening it's fit to chop it. I was just checking on everything, making sure the mowing height was right and the crimping was good. I'm gonna work at cleaning out a few heifer pens and I'll probably take over his spot later. We got about 50 acres to mow, so it should take a good 6 or 7 hours to do that job. These guys are getting some of these holes drilled now. So they're putting the posts every 8 feet across the back. And this end, there's a 14-foot gap. This is where the door is going to be to get inside to clean the bed pack pen out and the bed up and everything. There's a 14-foot door, sliding door right here. I'm going to work in our old heifer barn this morning. This is the barn that's going to be torn down this summer at some point. I want to scoop out the first 4 pens. Bedding gets built up in the back. It gets pretty deep. I have one of our employees coming this morning to help. Ethan, he's going to be here soon. Once he's here, we'll open up and start scooping out. I'm going to bring the manure spreader right now, and I'll scoop up that little bit of pile outside there. While my skid loader's fueling up, I just wanted to check on the alfalfa again. This is some really nice looking alfalfa. This is the stuff that last spring we seeded with that drill that has the closer row spacing. I think it's helping us with weed control. I did not spray for any weeds in this field. We have just a couple here and there, a couple little grassy patches, but some of our other fields have some more weeds in them. Looks like we got a seed bag somehow made its way out here. We're gonna get started now with this barn. We're gonna open up all these gates and we'll start with the pen on the far end. Now Ethan's moving all the calves from the first pen and mixing them with the second pen, so that we have one pen empty we can clean out. So this is the first time I ever tried cleaning these pens out with a Kubota skid loader. It's just a little too big. Don't quite have enough space to get back far enough to scoop under. So I'm gonna try using our baby New Holland with a little bucket on it. And we should be able to get the pens started and then use the Kubota to get most of it out. amazing the difference that small skid loader made. It's a lot slower and weaker, but for fitting in that tight area, definitely helped a lot. So he's gonna work at cleaning up the edges a little bit while I'm hauling this load out. So I'm spreading right along some of the alfalfa fields that we're gonna be mowing today. Just wanna make sure I'm not tossing any pieces of manure over into those because they're gonna end up in the feed. I don't know if any of you know what could be causing this, but with our 7220, the second remote, when I try to push it forward, it's always kind of tight. When I start using it, as I'm using it some, it loosens up, but it can be kind of difficult to push it forward the first few times. We scrape this scrape belly out 3 times a week, and then we were blowing bedding in this area, and it just builds up over time. There's no reason to clean it out every week. You build a bed pack, and it's a nice soft area. After a while, these get really deep, and we need to scoop them out. Got the first pen clean. He's gonna throw a scoop of bedding in there and move those calves while I take this load out. He got all the second pen switched into the first now. Got the fourth pen cleaned out. Just gotta move these calves back into the right pen, and that'll be it for this job. That went pretty fast having a second guy helping me. I just had some lunch. I'm gonna take over for my dad now and mow hay for the rest of the afternoon. Let's check the knives quick. Nice thing is with these alfalfa fields, we've already mowed over these fields multiple times last year, so we know there's no big rocks or anything, or else we would have already hit it in the past. Working at these strips at the home place. I curve around this hill. I was mowing and heard something, sounded like it was catching or something. It looks like we wrapped an old feed bag around here. Down to the last 2 fields at the bottom of the home farm. This field is 4th year alfalfa, so we're actually going to rotate this into corn this year. Just going to take first cutting, and then we're going to plant corn into this. It's right beside the field that we did new seeding alfalfa early this spring. This stuff's just starting to come up. It looks pretty good, but it definitely needs some more rain. we'll cut this field down along the second cutting with the rest of the alfalfa. So we rotate these fields back and forth. This one's 9 acres, that one's 10 acres, so it kind of keeps things even. We had interseeded some grass into this field, so there's actually some planted grass in here. It's not all unintentional, but there's some other weeds too. Finished up the mowing. I'm just gonna go park this tractor for now. It's about time to eat supper. I don't know if it's the heaviest crop. Some of the fields didn't seem quite as tall, but we'll see how it yields. Maybe it's better than I think. I'm just gonna park it for now. Maybe we'll mow a meadow tomorrow with this before we unhook it. Guess Dad's finishing up the feeding now. Some quality lumber right there. A little windy out here. That's a good thing for drying the hay, but the sun's not really out. See if they got all these holes dug. Yep, and they poured concrete in them already. I didn't even see the concrete truck, but they poured a little bit of concrete at the bottom of all these, and then they're gonna set the post on top of that. When they were bringing all this fill in, remember they hauled in some rocks to kind of solidify it a little bit. It was like fist-sized rocks. And I did think about it. I wonder if it's gonna give trouble once they go to dig these post holes, if their auger is going to be able to dig down into those. And they were having trouble with some of them. It's these rocks like this. So they were using a little mini track hoe and kind of digging them out a little bit more if they couldn't get them deep enough. That's what they did with a bunch of these. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.